Life used to feel longer, didn't it? Remember being a kid when summers stretched on forever? When a single school day felt like an eternity? Now, years fly by in a blink. December sneaks up on you before you've even processed January. It's like time speeds up as you get older. But that's not just a feeling. It's a trick your brain plays on you. Here's how it works. Your brain doesn't measure time in hours or minutes. It measures time in some new experiences. When you were a child, everything was new. Your brain recorded everything. The first time you rode a bike, your first sleepover, your first heartbreak. These fresh experiences made time feel stretched. But as you grow older, routine takes over. The same morning coffee, the same commute, the same conversations. Your brain stops recording the repetitive stuff because it's already familiar. And when your brain stops recording, time shrinks. This is called eye-time compression, and it's why entire years can feel like they disappeared in a blur. But here's the good news. You can hack it. You can slow time down again. How? By injecting novelty into your life. Start simple. Take a different route to work. Try a hobby that challenges you. Have a deep conversation with someone instead of just scrolling on your phone. Travel. Whether it's to a new country or just a new part of your city, anything that forces your brain to pay attention will stretch time again. But let's go even deeper. There's another trap we fall into. Someday thinking. Say, I'll do it someday. I'll start my passion project when I have more time. I'll travel when work settles down. Someday is a dangerous word because it makes you think you have all the time in the world. But let's break the illusion. The average human lifespan? 30,000 days. That's it. If you're 30, you've already burned through 11,000 of them. And here's the kicker. Not all 30,000 are active, healthy days. If you're lucky, you get 20,000 days of energy, curiosity, and movement. The rest? Slower years. So the real question is, what are you doing with the days you have left? This isn't about fear, it's about focus. It's about making sure your time doesn't slip away unnoticed. Because at the end of your life, you won't remember the weeks that blended together. You'll remember the moments that stood out, the ones where you truly lived. So, if life feels like it's racing past you, maybe it's time to stop letting your days look the same. Start making them count. Because time isn't the problem. How you experience it is. You wake up, check your phone, rush through breakfast, answer emails, sit through meetings, reply to messages, tackle your to-do list, squeeze in errands, and by the time you finally get a moment to breathe, it's already night. Another day gone. But here's the real question. Was it a day well spent? Most people live under the illusion that being busy means being productive, that if their calendar's full, their life must be moving forward. But here's the truth. No one tells you. Busyness is a trap. It's a thief in disguise, stealing your energy, your focus, and most importantly, your time. Because let's be honest, how much of what fills your day actually matters? The reality is, most people don't spend their time on what's important. They spend it on what's urgent. Answering emails, attending meetings, doing favors for others, checking notifications. And the problem is, urgency feels important. So you convince yourself you're making progress. But deep down, you know the truth. You're just staying busy. Here's what successful people understand. Knowing what not to do is more valuable than knowing what to do. Try this. The deathbed test. Imagine yourself at 90 years old looking back on your life. What will actually matter? The extra hours spent perfecting a report? The endless scrolling through social media? Or the quiet moments with people you love? The experiences that made you feel alive? The time you spent on something that truly mattered to you? When you ask yourself this question, suddenly, priorities become crystal clear. So, how do you escape the busyness trap? Chapter 1. The two-list strategy. Warren Buffett has a simple method. Write down everything you want to achieve in life. Circle the top 3. Everything else? That's your avoid at all costs list. Why? Because distractions don't just come from useless things. They come from good things that keep you from the great ones. 2. The power of saying no. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something that truly matters. No, you don't have to answer that email right away. No, you don't have to be in that meeting. No, you don't have to be available 24/7. Guard your time like your life depends on it, because it does. 3. The myth of multitasking. Science is clear. Multitasking doesn't work. Your brain isn't built to handle multiple tasks at once. Instead, it rapidly switches focus, making you slower and more exhausted. Want to get more done? Do less, but do it with complete focus. 4. Schedule what actually matters. If you don't plan your priorities, distractions will plan them for you. Block out time for what's important, whether it's working on your dream, spending time with family, or simply resting. Treat it like a meeting with your future self and don't cancel on yourself. At the end of the day, busyness is not a badge of honor. It's a warning sign. The goal isn't to do more, it's to do what matters. Because no one remembers how many emails they answered, but they do remember how they lived. Imagine this. You've worked hard, built success, and checked off every goal. But one day you look around and realize you're alone. What was it all for? There's a secret no one tells you. Your relationships define the quality of your life. Not your bank account, not your job title, not how productive you are. Think about it. Every great memory you have probably involves other people. Late night conversations, adventures with friends, the warmth of being truly understood. These moments are the real wealth of life. But most people don't invest in them the way they should. Instead, they get caught in the trap of someday. Someday, I'll spend more time with my family. Someday, I'll catch up with my old friends. Someday, I'll prioritize the people who matter. But someday is an illusion, because life doesn't pause, it just keeps moving. The loneliness epidemic. We are more connected than ever, yet lonelier than ever. Social media gives the illusion of connection, but scrolling through someone's life isn't the same as being part of it. And the saddest part? We often neglect the people who truly matter while chasing things that don't. How many times have you been in the same room as someone you love, yet both of you are staring at your phones? The truth is, deep relationships require intentionality. They don't just happen. They are built. Make time, not excuses. Everyone is busy, but the difference between strong relationships and lost connections is simple. Some people make time, others make excuses. Prioritize the people who matter. Go first. Stop waiting for others to reach out. Be the person who makes the call, sends the text, sets up the meeting. Connection doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice. Listen more than you talk. Most people listen to reply, but real connection happens when you listen to understand. Ask deeper questions. Be present. Give people the space to be seen and heard. Remove the wrong people. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. If a relationship drains you, belittles you, or makes you feel small, it's time to step back. At the end of your life, you won't care how many hours you worked. You won't care how many followers you had. You'll care about the love you gave, the moments you shared, and the people who made life worth living. In today's world, we've mastered the art of looking successful. Perfectly curated social media posts, a job title that sounds impressive, a busy schedule that makes us feel important. But behind the scenes, so many people feel empty. We chase external validation, money, status, recognition, believing it will bring fulfillment. But what if the life you're working so hard to build looks great from the outside, but feels terrible to live? A truly meaningful life isn't about appearances. It's about how it feels to wake up every day. Modern culture sells us a definition of success that's easy to measure. How much money you make, how many followers you have, how busy you are. And if you check these boxes, you might look successful. But are you happy? Because real success isn't about how your life looks to others, it's about how it feels to you. Too many people build a life that's impressive on paper, but miserable in practice. They spend years climbing a ladder, only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. They chase money, but lose their freedom. They build a career, but sacrifice their health. They say yes to everything, but feel drained and unfulfilled. If your life only looks good in photos, something is missing. To design a life that feels good to live, you need a new definition of success, one based on alignment, fulfillment, and peace. Here's what real success looks like. Time freedom, control over how you spend your days, energy, waking up excited, not exhausted, deep connections, relationships that fill you up, not drain you, purpose, work that matters, not just work that pays, inner peace, a mind that's calm, not constantly restless. None of these things can be captured in a single Instagram post, but they define whether you actually enjoy your life. So how do you shift from looking successful to feeling fulfilled? Do an energy audit of your life. Write down everything you do in a day, every commitment, habit, and responsibility. Then ask, what gives me most energy? What drains and sane me? What would my life look like if I only kept what truly matters? Most people never ask these questions, but the answers will change everything. Create space for what you actually want. If your life is packed with things that don't fulfill you, there's no room for what does. Say no to obligations that feel like a burden. Simplify your schedule. Less busyness, more presence. Prioritize what brings you peace, not just what makes you money. A full calendar isn't the same as a full life. Define success on your own terms. Forget what society says. Ask yourself, what do I want more of in my life? What do I want less of? If no one was watching, what would I build for myself? The life that feels good to you might not impress anyone else. That's a good sign you're on the right path. A life that feels as good as it looks. At the end of the day, no one else lives your life but you. So stop designing it for an audience. A truly fulfilling life isn't about how it looks on the outside, it's about how it feels on the inside.